today, and he brought my knowledge to something, drew my attention to something which was quite profound. You see that my student is actually a genius. And his name is ABIM, and that is why I named, he brought out one idea that helped, that we used to solve simultaneous equation. We actually solved simultaneous equation, and he just came up with that idea, and we used it to solve it. So I named that method after him, ABIM'S method of simultaneous equation. ABIM'S method, all right. So his name is actually diminutive. This is actually diminutive of his name. So ABIM'S method is a very simple method, and some of you might already know it before now. So what the method is essentially about is this. So for example, I want to solve number one. Number one says 2x plus y is equal to 7, and x minus y equals 2. So what you want to do in ABIM'S method is that you are going to make y subject in both cases. This was what brought about the notion, the idea for him. I told him that if A is equal to B, and I said B is equal to C, therefore, if A is B and B is C, then A must be directly C. Alright, so he then came up with this, that let's make y subject here. When we make y subject here, from equation, so this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So from equation 1, y will be equal to what? 7 minus 2x. This is equation 3. And from equation 2, what will y be? Y will be equal to, y will come here, 2 comes here, and we have it. If you add y to both sides, subtract 2 from both sides, you have x minus 2. So this is equation 4. So if y is this, and this same y is this, then it means that 7 minus, if y is this, and y is this, so it means that this must be this. So 7 minus 2x equals x minus 2. Alright, so you see that's turned to another form of linear equation here, so that we have this guy comes here and this guy goes there. We have minus 2x, you collect x to one side, equals minus 2 minus 7. So we've collected x to one side and the constants to one side. So we have minus 3x equals minus 9. So divide both sides by minus 3. So over minus 3 over minus 3. Alright. X equals 3. Alright. So you see we have gotten a value for x. Alright. So we can then solve into the equation and say that so solve 3 for x in equation 4, for example. Since equation 4 says y is equal to x minus 2, this is equation 4, we then solve 3 for x. Whenever we see x, we put 3. So we put y equals 3 minus 2, so that y will be equal to 1. So x comma y is equal to what? 3 comma 1. Alright. So you see that method is actually quite profound. So the next one says 3x plus 2y equals 5, and 5x minus y is equal to 4. Alright, using ABIM'S method. So using ABIM'S method. Okay, so in ABIM'S method, what we want to do is this: make y subject here, make y subject here. Now, simultaneously, you can make x subject here, you are going to get the same answer. So, well, since y is usually used to denote the function, so let's make y subject. So, if we make y subject here, you know, from 1. So, this is 1 and this is 2. So, from 1 is this 3x plus 2y equals 5. So, if you make y subject, we are going to have y equals 5 minus 3x over 2. I hope you got this. So this becomes equation 3. And then from 2, we have that this is 2 here, 5x minus y. This is 1 and this is 2. Equals 4. So this is 2. So to make y subject, we are going to have y equals 4 minus 5x minus 4. Alright, this becomes equation 4. Alright, so since y is this and y is this, therefore this must be this, so that we can separate like that. 5 minus 3x all over 2 is equal to 5x minus 4. So multiply through by 2 so that we remove this. So we have 5 minus 3x equals 10x minus 8. Alright, so that we collect x to one side, so we have minus 3x minus 10x equals minus 8 minus 5. So we have minus 13x equals minus 13. So divide both sides by minus 13. Here we divide it by minus 3. So minus 13 over minus 13. And then we have 1. So x equals 1. So we can then substitute 1 for y for x in equation 4 rather. So anyway we see x, so this is equation 4 here, y equals 5x minus 4, this is equation 4 here. So anyway we see x, you just put 1, so y equals 5 into bracket 1 minus 4, y equals 5 minus 4, and y equals 1. You would agree with me that this method is in fact more comprehensive than substitution method, because I am saying that you don't have to substitute any big value for anything here. All you have to do is equate them. So this method is supposed to be called ABIM'S substitution method. Alright, this is ABIM'S substitution method. We are going to solve one more question with it. Now, I did say that this method is quite more simpler than the ordinary substitution method, ABIM'S substitution method. And you will quite agree with me after solving this. The only downside to this method is that you have to understand subject of formula. So if you know how to make an equation, do subject of formula well, you will understand this method well. But if you don't know how to do subject of formula, go down and watch the video that I made on subject of formula. I explain subject of formula explicitly in that video. Alright. So here, notice that the values are quite big. So what we want to do is this. So we say I say we have renamed it ABIM'S substitution method. Alright. So what we want to do is this. Let's make A, for example, subject of formula. So to make A, so this is equation 1, this is equation 2, and we have 6A plus 5B equals 23. Alright, so what you want to do here is this. We are making A subject, so let's take this guy to that side by subtracting from both sides. So we have 23 minus 5B, like this. So we now then divide both sides by 6, so that A becomes 23 minus 5B over 6. This is equation 3. Alright, let's form equation 4 this was from 1, and here from 2. Let's form equation 4. So we have 5A plus 3B equals 18. So here, we are still going to make A subject still. So how do we make A subject? Let's take this guy here, so that by subtracting from both sides, so that we have this minus 3B, divide both sides by 5. Alright, so here we now have A equals 18 minus 3B over 5. Alright, so seeing this, we will now have, since A is this and A is this, then this must be this. Alright, so we are going to say A equals A, that's what we say, A equals A. So we have 23 minus 5B over 6 equals 18 minus 3B over 5. The easiest way to go about this is just multiply through by the LCM. But if you don't know how to do that, you can easily cross multiply. It will still be the same, because at the end of the day, when you cut, you see how well it is. Into bracket 23 minus 5B equals 6 into bracket 18 minus 3B. Alright, so we're going to have 5 is going to open this bracket. 5 by 23, we have 115. And we have 115, and 5 by this we have 25b minus 6 by this. 5 by this is 90 plus this 108. 90 plus 18, 108. We have 108 minus this by this. I mean, is equal to here. Is equal to, please don't make that mistake. 6 by this, 18b. Alright, so what do? Let's collect the constants to one side, and of course, our b coefficients to one side. So we have this guy. Let this guy go there. Or let this guy come here and this guy go there. So that we have 115. Either way you do it, you are correct. So 115 minus when it comes here, because we are subtracting from both sides, of course, equals minus 18b plus 25b. Right? So we have this. So we can rearrange this, because this minus this gives us 7. Yes, is equal to plus 25 minus this is the same as 25b minus 18b. And that is essentially 7 as well. So 7 divided by 7 equals, we divide by 7. So b is equal to 1. So from here, we can now substitute. You know that in substitution method, what we would have done is, after making this solve the formula, we would have just taken this guy to go and substitute, which will make our equation cumbersome. But if you have done it this way, it's going to result in something simpler to work out. So we have substitution, so we substitute 1 for b in equation either 3 or 4. This is equation 4, so we can substitute in equation 3. So we have a equals 23, and this juicy part about this, the juicy part about it is that a is already solved the formula. Simply plug in the value of b. So you have a equals 23 minus 5 by 1 all over 6, so that we have a equals 23 minus 5, that is 18 over 6. This takes care of this and this takes care of this, so that a becomes 3. That is your final answer. So you have a comma b is equal to 3 comma 1, and that is our final answer. Alright, that will be it for this video using ABIM'S substitution method. I hope you did enjoy this method. You can try it on whenever you want to solve some equation. I promise you it's going to work 100% of the time. God bless you. If you did like what you watched now, do want to subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe and also click the bell notification so that whenever we drop juicy contents like this, interesting contents like this, that will help your math and science, you're going to be notified first. God bless you.